We source coffee from farm to cup, but for our employees, they live on half of that. There's the farm to Milwaukee part, which is half the journey that they've never seen. So to get to fill in the blanks and see the whole spectrum is a really special experience for folks working in specialty coffee. The employee trip to Origin's really our opportunity to say thank you to employees who have been with us for over 5 years. It's a trip to an origin country, a country where coffee comes from, which is almost a spiritual trip for someone who has worked in coffee for so long.
One of the reasons I wanted to come in the first place was the whole farm to cup thing that Stone Creek does, that we work directly with our farmers.
I viewed it as this really unique opportunity to enrich my relationship with the industry I've sort of dedicated my career to.
Our goal for the trip is to try and make it easy. There are certainly farms, partners we could visit that are a little bit more out of the way, a little bit more difficult to get to. But because this is a thank you trip at its core, we just try and make it a lot of fun. But also Antigua is sick. One of the things that I love about leading these trips is that each trip kind of takes on the unique flavor depending on who's going on the trip. So Melissa is our director of user experience here at Stone Creek Coffee, and she's married to Eric, our founder. So she's been deeply involved in this business for the last 15 years, but actually hadn't gone on one of our employee trips up to this point. Karen is our director of retail, and I don't think there's anybody at Stone Creek that manages quite as much volume as Karen does, but with a spirit that just can't be quenched. Patrick has worked in some of our busiest and most unique cafe build projects, from when we opened in Chicago to playing a crucial role early on in the opening of our Downer Cafe on the east side, and now he's supporting other cafe managers here at Stone Creek. We found out on this trip that Happy and his wife are expecting their second child, so congrats to Happy. Happy's a member of our diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging team at Stone Creek. He possesses so much wisdom, he's so thoughtful, and I'm so glad that he has chosen to be a part of Stone Creek and contribute to our team in that way. Silken and Celeste, I don't want to lump the two of them together, but here we go. They're sisters, and they add so much energy, positive, delightful energy to any room that they're in, together or separate. Silken's been with us forever, like our longest tenured barista, just lights up a space. Celeste has been growing here with us at Stone Creek. She's our employee care coordinator, and so she's helping with our HR stuff and learning that part of the business, while she also continues to work as a master barista out of our Economowoc Cafe. Hannah has really become an integral part of our retail team here at Stone Creek as a master barista and as a barista trainer. Hannah just contributes with so much grace and positivity. She's helping us evolve really and continue to push the envelope and the quality levels that we can accomplish across a large retail group. We make this trip to Antigua, Guatemala. This is where we've had every employee trip. It's just an awesome place to take people and show them someplace they've never been before, but also someplace that's very easy to travel. The hardest thing, honestly, about it is just getting there.
Long travel day, for sure. Some things in our control, some things not in our control. So we flew from Milwaukee to Dallas, then had a little bit of a layover there, and then Dallas to Guatemala City.
In the Dallas airport, we had time to kill. There's a decent amount of food in Dallas, but as far as airports go, it's a little meh. Could be worse, could be better. TGI Fridays seemed like a safe bet. And we just hung out for a little bit.
Well, I'm most excited to see the process. To see how everything is made. What's that saying? See how the sausage is made. I'm most excited for that.
Most looking forward to visiting one of our farmers. I think that'll be really cool because I've known these coffees for a really long time, and being able to connect with the place, I think makes it really special.
That's what I was going to say. I want to shake my farmer's hand. It's a big passion of mine. And so now I get to meet someone who's not in the same country as I am, who grows our plant coffee.
It's cool that I'll just get to see your coffee plant. Just face to face.
Cherry, maybe. Yeah.
You have to. Everybody's got to eat a cherry.
The first time I went to a coffee farm, I had this feeling of like absolute wonder. And I'm always chasing that feeling of just being so humbled by a tiny little being. Like it's really inspiring.
I'm most excited about experiencing the culture of a country I've never been to.
Yeah, man. Same.
Then we fly out from Dallas to Guatemala City. We got in late. So we just said, let's stay at a hotel there in Guatemala City. We'll take a shuttle the next day. So we did. We shuttled up to Antigua morning of the second day. A fairly easy shuttle ride, traffic pending. It can take anywhere from an hour, like 3.5 hours to go from Guatemala City to Antigua or back, depending on the traffic.
The drive-in was beautiful, like more beautiful than I could have expected it to be. I was pretty blown away when I got to Antigua. So much color and plants and like the cobblestone streets and everything. It's just so unique.
Like it's just gorgeous and like green and beautiful. Kind of like driving around the corner and then you see like a bunch of like houses kind of like on the mountain and you're like, wow, like it's just like looks so different than, where we live.
So we roll into Antigua, which is a great feeling. Pull into Antigua and start rolling down the cobblestone streets. It feels a little bit like my second home at this point.
Usually it's like so dreary in Milwaukee right now. So I don't know what it's
have like a winter snowstorm this Thursday.
Yeah. Oh.
So.
Yeah.
Once you dodged it.
We basically had that whole first afternoon free to hang out by the pool, get acclimated to Antigua, and then head out for our first dinner. Dinner that night was at Los Tres Tiempos. My favorite place to take people on night one because it's semi-upscale, authentic Guatemalan food. So, we had TGI Fridays in the airport. We need to push the envelope a little bit here. This is not why where Happy got sick, for the record. That was not my fault.
All the meals we've had here have been spectacular. Like exceeded any expectations that I could have possibly had.
Food is so good.
So good.
Oh man.
Like thought it was gonna be spicy, but it's not.
It's flavorful.
Yes, it's flavorful, and
Super
I like
flavorful.
can't handle like heat.
Just so good, like comfort food, but amazingly delicious. And I didn't realize it was very dairy heavy. So delicious.
The weather was perfect that night, so we sat out on the rooftop, just cut it up. I ordered for the table, got a little bit of everything, but everybody seemed to really enjoy the spread. The next morning, officially the start of day 3 of the trip, is when we head to the farm. And we spend 2 days with our partners at San Miguel Coffees, Adrian Cabrera and Sebastian Faya. Adrian's our official rep with San Miguel Coffees and just a delightful human being.
My takeaway was when we got up to the farm was just how welcoming and nice the farmers were.
With the people we've interacted with, they're all so kind. They're all very welcoming.
And it's been great to build a relationship with him over the years and get to introduce so many team members to him who can then put a face with, the coffees that we pull out of Antigua, out of San Miguel every single year. We get to the farm. El Tempique is the name of their family farm on the slopes of Acatenango. From there, usually we go and see if there's any coffee left on the trees, which thankfully there was. And if you've been working in coffee for so long, there's no experience like getting to see coffee cherries on the tree and then to pick a ripe cherry and to pop it in your mouth and taste the sweetness, like the remarkable tropical sweetness of a coffee cherry.
Oh, it's delightful.
It's special. Pretty much all the coffee that we buy at Stone Creek is hand-picked, which is an ordeal. Like to pick enough coffee to make a cup of coffee is arduous unless you're highly trained, do it all the time. Just ask any of the team members that go each year. It's almost embarrassing how little we pick given the amount of time we spend picking. One of the awesome things about being hosted by the folks at San Miguel is the eats. Simple but incredible. Steamed veggies, salad, and amazingly cooked meats. Normally we'll have a chicken and a beef dish for the lunches. Then that with a refried black bean, their crema queso. Yeah, fire stuff. In the afternoon, that's where we get our tour of the San Miguel dry mill. What's nice about being at San Miguel is you get a full picture of the kinds of operations that folks run, because they're kind of doing it all there. They've got large processing mill, and then they've got like a micro mill, and then, like I said, they can dry on raised beds, they can dry on patios, or they can dry in mechanical dryers. You have to be so meticulous in how you dry coffee to keep it stable, to then go into a bag, to then travel overseas or on seas because it gets on a boat. Coffee off the tree only really stays good for maybe up to a year if it's treated really, really well at origin, which means it has to be dried meticulously, it has to be sorted meticulously, it has to be stored meticulously.
Every step of the way is intuitive, it's logical, like sort of follows this geographic and intuitive path through the property. And we got to walk that path with our hosts, which was a remarkable experience. I don't think I could compare to anything else.
Day 4. The point of this day is to get into the tasting. So cupped 4 tables of different coffee samples to choose the lots that we wanted to sell as Ring of Fire and Three Volcanoes Dark Guatemala, and then a seasonal as well. So our summer seasonal this year will be a single origin medium roast Guatemalan coffee that's really good. Spoiler alert. But what was exciting about this is the team gets to sort of watch all this take place and taste some of these coffees as we go through the process. So they can kind of see what I'm looking for, what our green team is looking for when we're selecting coffees. And it's great to see them kind of articulate what they like or don't like about a particular coffee.
It is like a wine tasting where it's so fun because you're doing it and then you talk about it and just like, what do you taste and what do you like and why? And
throughout my career at Stone Creek, I've had like many opportunities to cup our own coffees and like learn that way with our teams. But I haven't yet had an opportunity to cup coffees that I've never tasted and kind of blind cupped. So that was a really like unique and fun experience for me today.
We're in the cupping lab for some 3 hours, periodically taking breaks to sun ourselves. We travel in February. February in Guatemala is much better than February in Milwaukee. There's a lot going on at San Miguel Coffees besides coffee. So at El Tempique there, they actually grow poinsettias and orchids. So it's not unusual for us to spend an hour just gawking at the orchids. The rest of that afternoon is really about playing around, more ATV fun, playing board games, playing cornhole on this trip. They have a wood-fired pizza stove there at El Tempique, and we're big wood-fired pizza people. I mean, who isn't, really? Once we're pizzaed up, a little wine too, never hurt anybody. We went down to the mill. Coffee cherries get delivered at the end of the day, so picking happens throughout the day, and then the cherries come to the mill for processing. A lot of cherries. They run through the mill that removes bad cherries and then removes the outer skin from the cherry to prepare it for fermentation. A lot of fun to watch coffee just travel through this massive apparatus. Again, it's an eye-opening component when you consider all the steps that coffee has to go through before it ends up in your cup.
Seeing the path of the cherry down to the dried bean, we also got a unique perspective as to how many jobs this creates, from the people who harvest coffee to milling the coffee to cleaning the mills, everything like that. Like, really speaks volumes to like how much value that the coffee farm produces in this area.
I think you truly gain an appreciation for the value of coffee when you've seen all of this work that goes into it. After 2 days on the farm, we get a free day in Antigua, which is about seeing, exploring, asking questions, eating food, buying souvenirs, and just having generally good time. We tried to get Happy a tattoo. That was one of his goals for the trip, was to get a tattoo. Unfortunately, should have called ahead. I always take the team to a restaurant called Takul, which is very much not rustic. Their cocktails, great. Their tacos, equally great. No team have I taken to Takul where they're like, yeah, we might think about a different place next year for lunch. No. That evening is what I've coined as Droopy's Bar Crawl. Now, the intensity of Droopy's Bar Crawl varies from year to year. This year was fairly tame. We had taken a trip with the team in November that we did end up dancing on top of a bar. This year, it started as all of Droopy's Bar Crawls start, and that's at a little bistro called Porque No. More wood-fired pizza. There's a chicken curry pizza we have there that's awesome. So normally we get some food, a couple bottles of wine. The aesthetic of that place is just on point. It's tiny. You gotta like crawl up above the pizza oven for seating, and I love it so much. Every time we visited there, they give you markers to write on the walls, the lights, whatever you want to write on. So every team has left their mark at Porque No. Literally every team has. I just don't know where it all is. So one of the games that we play is, find something from a team of yore. Then depending on how the team's feeling, that's, we make a measured next step. This year we just went to the craft brewery in Antigua Brewing Company. More rooftop vibes. When your weather is that impeccable, you should have rooftop bars, restaurants, pools, you name it. Put it on your roof. By this point in the trip, everybody I think is feeling full. Full in terms of what they've experienced, full in terms of the food, because the food's so good. Even the food at the hotel for breakfast is good.
I intentionally didn't have any expectations, tried to be intentionally open, and I was 100% blown away, gobsmacked by how stunning and just almost surreal in its beauty.
You can explain it and you can teach it, but to really see it and to pick the coffee cherries and see how work intensive that is, and then to care for that seed all the way through, it's incredible. It's just a humbling experience.
After a free day in Antigua, the next day we wake up, have a chill morning. We went and grabbed coffee at a nice little coffee shop there by the hotel, and then we take a shuttle back to Guatemala City and then head out for the Last Supper. So the last day is leisurely, but it always includes a special moment that I have come to refer to sacrilegiously as the Last Supper. We go to a restaurant, usually Saul, by the Barcelo in Guatemala City, and it's a great place to reflect and talk about what your favorite part of the trip was, what did you learn about each other, what are you gonna take home. For us, another opportunity just to stop and thank these people. The trip is great, and everybody wants to go on it, and it's delightful and wonderful, but at the core of what it is, it's a thank you from us, the owners of Stone Creek, to the employees who have spent so much of their lives here as part of our team.
It was an opportunity for us to communicate further with people that we don't necessarily work with day in and day out, and gain some insight into how they view their own work.
One thing I've tried to clarify is Stone Creek is not a family, it is a workplace, but my hope is that it's a special workplace where you're afforded the opportunity to grow professionally, but also personally. So all of this really is to just celebrate, 5 years of that work and those commitments and those opportunities and growth, and thank the folks who have contributed so much to that.